Hello, YouTubers. I am Angela Logan, and this is Everyday Shenanigans. It is Hump Day still, and Wednesday, November 13th, 2019. Welcome, welcome. Thanks, new subscribers. Came to bring you all an update. Another video, part two of my update on Miss Brianna Williams, the mother who has been arrested in connection to um, the disappearance of her child, Miss Taylor Williams. As most of you already know, remains were found in a wooded area between Demopolis and Linden, Alabama. She's currently in the hospital because she attempted suicide yesterday. She also had a court appointment today. Naturally, she could not attend that court appointment on child neglect charges and lying to investigators. And she moved into her apartment on Sunday. Uh, Not this Sunday, but the Sunday previous. And I'm going to read you information pertaining to that, and then we're going to move forward. Okay. Now, a young lady by the name of Tiffany Nicole said she and her fiance responded to a Craigslist ad by Brianna Williams on Sunday asking for help moving into her Brentwood area home from a Southside apartment complex. While helping her move in, Nicole said she never saw Taylor Williams during the move. That's the child. The strange thing that was off to me was she told my fiance there was a daughter in the bathroom and he heard water running, she said. We never saw a child. We did load up a pink and purple toddler bed. My understanding is that they received $250 for this move to this Brentwood house that she moved into, the same house where the child was allegedly missing from when the mother woke up a week ago and saw that allegedly the door was open and the child was gone. So ensues a police report that a child was missing. She also stopped cooperating with the police, Miss Brianna. She stopped cooperating because they saw the authorities' inconsistencies with her statements, and so an investigation ensues, I guess. Okay. Now, Florida Crime Stoppers also issued a reward of up to $4,000 to anyone with information that could help find Miss Taylor Williams. Okay, I want to see what else I can find because I still got so much to bring you. So, on a Sunday, let's say that'd be a week and several days, and she moved from one area to another, from apartment to a house. So the people who helped her move never saw a child, but did pack up a toddler's bed. People in the area of the new place in Brentwood also specify they never saw a child with the mother. Okay, I'm going to give you a bit of information about the family dynamic. This, getting information about a sister who says she did speak to her. They attempted to call her 2 times, but she did not respond. And so she had, I guess, left a message stating to her, "What's wrong? We're here for you. You can talk to me. Just want to basically help find the baby." This sister states that she and her mom have not talked to her since June of this year, 2019. This Brianna Williams also stated, I guess, to police that she had taken her child to her mother's house in October, the end of October, and picked the child up from the mom's house because allegedly she told authorities that her mother was keeping the child. But we now find out they have talked to the mother, and this is not true. As I told you all in the previous video today, the mother hadn't seen the child since earlier part of this year. So, more inconsistencies, and I can see why they went ahead and filed charges, because you report your child missing and now you're lying to them, and they're going to these people, talking to them, and they're giving a different version. Okay, the father, his name is Maurice Tate. He lives out of town. He says he has not seen the child in a minute. He did not indicate if he will come to Jacksonville to, I guess, see about this scenario and this disappearance of his child. And I don't know what's going on. The sister also make a claim that the mother was dating someone for the past 6 months. She believes that maybe that person could be involved or have information pertaining to the child. She also feels like maybe she feels her sister did not harm the child. This was a statement from last week. She did not harm the child, but maybe she's willing to take the fall for whatever happened to the child. Now, I've heard no more information about anyone locating this mystery man that she was dating. But the sister also indicated that when she moved into this house, that she also kept the apartment. Now, she found that odd that she would also be keeping the apartment. But she says the sister told her she didn't want to mess up her credit. So that's why she took the house, because it was a cheaper deal. And she kept the apartment because she did not want to mess up her credit. She also finds it odd that she went to work the day after reporting her child missing. And that she did not go out and search with said people to look for her daughter. She found that odd, that she would not even help to find her own child. Okay. Now, what else I want to talk about? They had been trying to contact her, family members, and said they had been trying to send texts for months, but she would not respond, and that she's saying that she didn't completely cut them off, but they would have to reach out to her. She, Miss Brianna, would not take it upon herself to reach out to her family. I don't know what was going on with her family. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if these people fell out, disagreement, but I do find it odd. You know, I don't want to say odd because everybody's family dynamics are different, but obviously she did not keep in contact with her family who lived one state above. She did not talk to the sister. She did not talk to the mother. She's lied to authorities about the child staying with the mother, which we now find out she did not. No one's talked to this girl in 2 years or so as far as the father of the child. Her and the sister didn't obviously have a relationship. She didn't have a relationship with her mother. And it's, wow, it's a lot. It's a lot. But I'm going to read you her accolades because she obviously, as I told you in the previous video today, she was a very dedicated member in the armed services. She had a lot of awards. She enlisted in the Navy on November 20th, 2012. She recruited to training command as a command student in Great Lakes, Illinois, March 9th, 2013. She was reassigned to Pensacola, Florida as an information warfare training student. In December 2013, she was reassigned to Naval Air Station in Pensacola. 2 years later, in March of 2015, she was reassigned to Carrier Airborne Early Warning Squadron 123 in Norfolk, Virginia. So as you see, she was moving back and forth from Florida to Virginia. Then she was reassigned in April of 2018, April 12th, as a Tactical Operations Center in Jacksonville, Florida, where she was recently promoted on April 16th of this year to Information Systems Technician, First Class E6. She was not scheduled to deploy. Okay, while she was in the Navy, these are the awards that she had received. Enlisted Aviation Warfare Specialist, Surface Warfare Specialist, Navy Marine Corps Achievement Medal, Navy E-Ribbon, Good Conduct Medal, National Defense Service Medal, Global Warfare Expeditionary Medal, Sea Service Deployment Ribbon. So, as I told you, she has received numerous accolades in the military while she was currently serving in the Navy. She went back and forth from Virginia to Pensacola, Florida. So she was a smart young lady. She received accolades in the Navy. She also was a very smart student in high school. Engineering major, allegedly. So as you see, she was a smart lady. So what happened to this young lady? Okay, I'm going to take these off. Sick of these. Hard to look out. So as I have brought to you information of her naval history, her moving from one side of town, Southside Apartments, to Brentwood in Jacksonville, Florida. If you're familiar with that area, you know where I'm talking about. Why she kept two apartments. Her sister found that strange. But Obviously, she gave a reason. She didn't want to mess up her credit. There is a mystery man who's allegedly in the picture. We have no information of him. We have a father who lives outside of the state who has not seen the child in a while. Will he be traveling to Jacksonville during this investigation period? Well, I don't know how much investigation will be now because she's in the hospital. So, like I said, we're waiting on information that will identify the child as Miss Taylor Williams. But the chief and the sheriff department has let it be known that what they saw at the scene is indicative of Miss Taylor. We'll go there. They also believe that she had been in the Alabama area recently, that she had traveled to Alabama. So naturally, they've tracked phone logs and all of that. Most people aren't going to travel out of state without a phone. We know that as well. Most Americans have cell phones. So she's not going to travel out of state 7.5 hours without a phone. That would be crazy to go up the highway without a phone. So this is baffling. No contact with the family, lying on the mother that the child was staying there. Neighbors saying they saw the child last in the spring. Then she moves to this apartment, moves from apartment to a house a week and a couple of days ago. But the people who helped her move, they didn't see a child, nor did the new people in the neighborhood see her with a child at the new house. So now we have to ask ourselves, since no one has seen or talked to her visually, no one has seen the child for 2 years. Oh, also, the sister said she asked her for pics of the child, but she said she always had an excuse why she couldn't send pictures. So now you have to ask yourself, if the child was last seen in May by a neighbor, last enrolled in the daycare or kindergarten in April from the base, why was she being funky with the pictures and notifications and talking to them and showing pictures before that? So her behavior was suspect before the last, visual aid of the child. But someone allegedly saw the child a week or so ago, before the move to the house. What is truth? Excuse me. This is a riveting tale. Once again, another riveting tale about a missing child. But don't you find it interesting, in the state of Florida, they did not play about arresting Queen, okay? You lied, we've called, we have found out that you have lied about your child. We have verified you have lied about the whereabouts of your child. Ding! We don't mind putting the cuffs on you. And a friend who wants to remain anonymous is the one who said, when she realized and got information that the authority was coming to arrest her, how she knew that, I don't know. They call you now to tell you they're coming to arrest you? That was a bit odd. But anyway, this person wants to remain anonymous, a friend. When she found out they were coming to arrest her, that's when she took, I guess, whatever she took to overdose. So much I have to digest and write down. It's like, what in the world is going on out here? But like I told the maintenance man where I live, I said the reason why these people kill their kids is because, one, I'm not going to say I know the reason why. I'll say the reason why, how can I word this? The reason they won't hand them over to someone to raise is because, one, they don't want people to judge them, I think, that they gave their child up years after birth. They know people have seen them with their child, so they figure, well, people are going to judge me. They're going to wonder, well, what happened? Why'd you do that? Blah, blah, blah. So the easier way is to kill them. I'm not going to let people know I couldn't handle raising a kid or I didn't want my child. I don't want them to assume anything. I don't want them to judge me, period. So I dispose of my child and then play crazy and, oh, they're missing. I went in a room and, oh, they went to school or they weren't there or they were in the park playing or they were jumping around outside in a bouncy house. Yeah, you know that one, don't you? Oh, give me a break. Anyway, yeah, I said it. Because as you see in this case, you don't know people. Now, let's think about this. With all I've read to you about her history in high school, her accolades in the Navy, you think there's not some people who would not vouch for her character, would not speak highly of her, such as some random woman said in Virginia, "Oh my goodness, just knowing she was in the military and we're all in the military and blah 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 and live around each other. You wouldn't think somebody that was serving the military and for our country would kill their kid." Well, wow, ma'am, you don't know her. What do you mean? You assume because someone serves in the military that they wouldn't murder their child? Well, let me think about that for a second. How many people have we found and seen with evidence served in the military at the time or was retired and or out of the military and they murdered someone? And they murdered someone close to them, such as a wife, a husband, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a child, a woman who said she was pregnant and he didn't want to be a father. So he buried the woman in his backyard. Do you see where I'm going with this? What does serving in the military have to do with why they killed someone close to them? I guess they didn't want to be bothered. I guess they had a problem with that person. What does serving your country have to do with murdering a child? See, this is why I keep telling you all with the theories. You people have got to stop putting one thing in the mix and assuming because they did this, then they wouldn't do this. Murder is murder. Whether you're the president of the United States, you're the CEO of a corporation, you're a pastor of a church, deacon in a church, church member, Christian, Jew, Arab. You see where I'm going with this? What does that have to do with deciding to take the life of somebody else? Doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter your economic background. Does not matter if you're educated, non-educated, have a degree, 5 degrees. The day you decide that you no longer want to be bothered with this person, then you decide to follow suit, to take them out, then you have made that decision. Who you are at that time means nothing. It only looks bad to the outsiders because, one, they thought they knew you. You don't look like that type of person. You've never been in trouble with the law. Oh my goodness, he or she, they don't have an arrest record. Why would they do that? Why not? You see, from all the years of watching these crime shows, one thing I've heard detectives say so many times about crimes, you have to think like they do. That's how we are able to catch the killer, is we have to think like them. Well, it makes sense. Because you're trying to think like a civilized civilian, that's not going to work. That's not going to help you. And it's sickening that you have to get into the mindset of a perpetrator, but that is sometimes what you have to do in order to relate and figure them out and investigate the case. Why would they do this? Did they have motive, opportunity? Why? Because naturally, we all want to know why. Even when they go to court, that's the first thing. Why did he do it? And you're waiting for the state to say, well, this is the reason why. And sometimes they don't know. Sometimes you never find out why people kill people. And you especially are curious when it comes to a child. And as I've told you all, didn't I tell you in the previous video before I got this information? That child probably was a mover and a shaker. She was doing things in the military. Who's to say she wasn't thinking about a 2-year plan, 5-year plan, and that child was in the way. She didn't have anyone who would keep her child. Because as I stated, I'm not going on what took place with her parents' family until there's some proof of what the dynamic was between the family. But obviously she did not fool with these people for whatever reason. And I don't know if it's because of a man. I don't know. We're never going to know because she's in the hospital. But there was something going on between her and her family to where she did not fool with them, talk to them, trust them, to even send pictures of her child, which that's odd. But maybe they didn't have a good relationship. Because I'm going to tell you something about people. People aren't going to tell you that they really don't get along with somebody. They don't like them. We're talking about a deceased child, perhaps. Are they really going to come out and say, yeah, I really didn't like my own daughter, or I didn't really like my own sister. I couldn't stand her guts. People don't tell you everything. That's why I'm not assuming anything about their relationship. I'm just repeating to you what they said in the article. They haven't heard from her. The sister tried to reach out to her. That's the only time they have contact, is when they reach out to her. But I do believe that the child had become a burden to her, As you see, she was doing a lot in the military. She had obviously a decent career, a decent position that she had just got promoted to. And maybe having that child was collateral damage. She had gotten in the way. She was no longer wanting to fool with rearing a child, being responsible for a child. I don't know the dynamics of the father. The fact that he hadn't seen the child, that's crazy, because in this day and age, we got phones, we got planes, buses. What's the excuse for not visiting your child? Sending for your child. Visiting your child, video chatting with your child. There's no excuse for that. But I don't know what went on with the father. But as you see, no contact with the father, no contact with the mother and the sister. Grandparents, something is fishy. Now, like I said, maybe they all just didn't get along. They're not telling the truth yet. I don't know. And she's in a hospital, so she can't give her version. So now we got to listen to outsiders give their version. But nonetheless, it is a sad tragedy. This child may be the remains found in the woods in Alabama. And now here we are as outsiders speculating, trying to figure out, like, wow, what happened? What was so terrible that she would kill her kid? But I think she no longer wanted to be a parent. And she did not want to have to explain to anybody where she was or lie about it, because people find out things. And it was just easier to just get rid of her and then move on in the world. And I had always said, if she killed that kid, that means she was not going to have contact with anybody to where she would have to explain where the child was. Remember I said that in the previous video? If you kill your child, somebody knows you had that kid. So what lie are you going to use? Well, maybe in her mindset, I'm not fooling with nobody. I'm not talking to nobody. So I don't got to explain nothing to them. I'm getting ready to fall off the earth, do my thing, no contact. I won't have to explain where the child is, because I'm not about to deal with these people. And I think that's where her mindset was, for whatever reason. She was done with dealing with folks. So she didn't feel like she had to explain to anybody where her child was. What I'm curious is how long the child has been gone missing. Because what's going to be the sick part, that child been missing since spring. Now, somebody says they saw the child, I think, when she still was living at the apartment in Jacksonville before she moved, which that's just a week and a couple of days. But if that coroner come back and say that child been dead for a couple of months, child, I'll scream, because that'll be like, wow, really? Come on now. Prayers to all of you out there. Prayers to our children. Prayers to those who don't feel right in the child rearing business. Do what you got to do and take the next step so your child can be safe and have somewhat of a happy existence. And you can have one too. Because I'm going to tell you what's bad is to be walking around as a child and you're living with people who don't like you. And they don't want to be bothered with you. They don't want to raise you. But they're just doing it because they're saving face. Because they don't want people to think ill of them by giving you up. And I think that's the reason why most people get their children gone. They don't want people questioning them later about where the child is. It's a sad world to live in, to be living with people that don't want you around. And I think most of us know that feeling. We all have had seen stories, or personal stories where we didn't have good parents and they didn't want to be bothered. And they let you know. May not have placed you with other people or put you up for adoption or gave you to foster care, but they let you know they didn't want you. And that's the part that's hurtful the most, because as they say, hurt people hurt people. And so when you're out here rearing your kids and you're not doing right by them and you keep them anyway, they know that you don't care about them. But they go along and they ride the ride, and you ride the ride too. But you're setting them up for failure, because now they have come at a pivotal time in their life and realize they are not loved. And they know they're not, but they'll still cling to you anyway because you're all that they know. It's a cruel world out here. I'm praying for all our children. I'm praying for them. And you pray for them too. You all, thanks for joining me and listening. I think I might take a break from these type of stories. They're daunting and they're taking a toll. And I really, frankly, every day talking about mischief and crazy people and nasty attitudes, dealing with children, it's not my bag. Because like I said, I don't like drama, period, with grown folks. And this right here, it's it's just too much. You understand what I'm saying? It's too much. I know a lot of you like these stories. You want to hear. You want someone to have a voice for these kids, and I thank you for thinking I should be that person. But I'd really like to talk about all types of things going on in the world, not just horrible things. Not this horrible anyway. But prayers to the world and prayers to the children. Thank you guys for subscribing, watching, listening, sharing, discussing these things with me. And Miss Beth, I've already told you what you need to do. I'm around, dear. I'm around. I'll talk to you guys later. Georgia, Julie, hello. Waiting on Elvis. All right. Thank you. Change is here. How are you? Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.